So it was kind of an interesting race. I mean, like I said, we had 3 different venues in one, and it was a race course that got changed as we raced. I don't know if you guys ever been to one of those. I haven't.
No,
but
can't say I have.
But it was interesting.
And then the last lap, of course, you were talking about. You came up to a traffic jam that pretty much stopped you for a little bit, huh?
Yeah, we were stopped for like 10 minutes there, waiting for trying to help the guy. Dave had to jump out and try to get the guy unjammed and back him up, and then they were all stuck on the rocks and everything. So that's when everybody started catching us. Is I think we had a pretty good lead according to Dave, because he was looking back. He was saying everything was coast was clear back there, and as soon as we got stuck there for 10 minutes, that's when everybody started catching us.
Yeah, I go back and I jump in the car and I'm like, hey, we need to pull up to the top and just get around this guy. And he's like, well, we got there's a car behind us. I'm like, a car behind us? How did that happen? We were only stopped for a few minutes. A lot longer than I thought it, but I mean, every time I got a chance to look back, I could see miles across the valley and nothing behind us. I'm like, okay, well, let's just cruise. They have to catch us and pass us to beat us on time. So we pretty much just kind of hang out, make dust.
We got a comment in the room saying you pretty much know your driver's capabilities, and I guess you have to when you're a co-driver.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you learn right off the bat, like timing, when to tell them what kind of corner is coming and how soon to tell them. That's the biggest thing to figure out, like, and how far in advance you can tell them, what's going on too. Because some guys they can read 4 or 5 turns into it, and you can be that far ahead, or other guys you have to back it down a little bit and only give them 1 or 2, and how you tell them it too is like if you're always calm and how you project yourself is how your driver reacts.
Is it different when you get into a car with a different driver than Chuck, being used to Chuck so much? You get into it, say, like with a different guy, you have to go through the same learning experiences with that driver?
Yeah, everybody's different. I've ridden with probably 4 or 5 different guys, and, in different trophy trucks and Class 1 cars. And it's always a learning curve. You got to figure out, like, test the water. Like a new relationship right off the bat, just like maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, try this, try that. So, but it seemed to work out pretty well. I mean, when we did qualifying, I started figuring out what I had to do, and
Chuck, Chuck, did you get scared at all today with your driving, or was it pretty solid for you?
No, the time I wouldn't say I was scared, but I'd come up and like a rock would surprise me, and be like, oh God, it would come up on us so fast. No, Dave did a great job. He even would compliment me on when I did a good turn or something. He'd be like, that was a good turn, Chuck. And I was like, oh, I'm glad you're really calm there, Dave. That was a fantastic corner you just did, Chuck.
Good job. You didn't kill us.
No, he did a great job, though. I think we could have done some things faster, towards the end, but we were trying to save it and just make it into the finish, because we were hearing everybody was getting flats too, so just kind of babied it where we should have picked it up a little bit.
We were playing mind games with the car behind us, though. Like they were rating in ahead of, or to the pits, telling them that they had flats, and I could tell, okay, they're starting to close in, so I stopped calling mile markers out so that they couldn't tell, like, judge how far ahead they were, because they were 30 miles behind, then they were 25, and okay, they're starting to reel us in. We didn't want to make any mistakes, running up front. We're going to cruise, but I'm not going to tell them where we're at anymore. And it ended up working out because they were doing the same thing to us too, like calling in false information, and it was kind of fun.
Yeah, that always makes it fun when your teammates are messing with you and you're messing with them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's cool. Hey, how about some shout outs to your sponsors, you guys? I know you guys got a lot of support in this race and you like to shout them out.
Yeah, I want to say special thanks to John Hara and the whole Speed Technologies team. They were all out there and had everything ready for us all the time. And Goodyear tires, we ran on them today, and they did good for us. I mean, the only time we had a flat was just because we had something that we didn't see. And Troy Lee Design, Fox Shocks, Exotic Engines. Oh man, the motors were awesome. Jim Horn and Kevin Singleton, when they put a motor together, you can count on that thing finishing. I mean, you just saw right there, two Exotic Engines and 2 finishes, 1 and 2. And just special thanks to all the guys that are out there. They all work on the car. For a few months we've had a lot of crazy weekends lately racing, and they all no one's ever bitching or complaining about it. They just make it happen because they want to come out here just as bad as we do.
Yeah, and speaking of weekend racing, next weekend we go to Utah for the Lucas Oil Off-Road Series, and I know, Chuck, you're racing again, and Dave will be out there doing what he does best, working on the cars.
Yeah, he's a great mechanic, that's for sure. That's another good reason that he's in the car, is that he's kind of a jack of all trades. He's a great mechanic, great navigator, and sometimes you can't get both in one guy. Sometimes they're good navigators, but they don't know what a screwdriver is.
Yeah.
or they get sick. That's the other problem.
Having one of those 916 wrenches.
Yeah. So
just hand me a wrench that fits, right?
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, that somebody asked in the chat room, do you guys ever get pissed at one another?
Probably if we were upside down.
Yeah.
We'd probably yell at each other saying, "Why didn't you tell me about that corner?" And he'd say, "Well, why'd you didn't make the corner?"
It happens, especially in Mexico, a lot too. When you go pre-running for a couple weeks at a time, and you're in the car with the same person for 12 hours a day, all day, and then you go do the race, and adrenaline's going and everything like that, and they make a mistake or you do something, and you just end up. Sometimes there's a couple hours of silence in the car. I mean, nobody says anything, nobody does anything. You just drive and hey, I'm sorry. Okay, cool. Let's get back to racing.
Yeah, cool. It's tough when you're going across the desert for a long period of time. You're tired, you're cranky, and you gotta trust one each other. And like I said, it's tough. I don't think I could sit in that seat and trust someone else's decisions of making turns or what. And at the same time, I rely on Dave to tell me sometimes where we're going. So it's a big trust issue.
Yeah, you definitely have to trust one another, and that goes both ways for the co-driver, trusting the driver, good driving skills, and then you trusting your co-driver on telling you, there's a sharp right coming up, or maybe he even remembers a big boulder that was in the way the last lap, or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
It's like a marriage sometimes. You get divorced and married a couple times in the car.
Except for you don't lose all your money in the divorce.
Exactly. There's a prenup you sign before you get in.
That's right.
And usually in a divorce you get to walk away, but we can't. We're stuck with each other until we get to the finish line.
Well, we're just coming back to the hotel. For you guys, I know probably love to take a shower and get cleaned up and have a cold one and celebrate a little bit on this win. It's a big win, you guys. You guys are first annual race out here, and you guys won it.
Yeah, we're stoked. We're stoked to get that big check tomorrow that says $10,000.
Yeah, what are you going to do, Chuck? You're going to go on a vacation when you're done here? Oh, you got to go race next week, but maybe after that, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with that.
Sleep in maybe once.
Yeah.
One day sleep in.
We haven't had a lot of sleep here in the last few days, I'll tell you that.
Well, I think you deserve a nice rest after this win.
Yeah, we're going here. We're pulling up to the Grand Sierra right now, and they want to do a podium deal here, because all the people are winding down from the stuff, all the other races and stuff that's going on here. So they want us to do somewhat like a finish line. So I'm sure we're going to have to jump back in the car here and drive over to some kind of finish line.
Well, we got people congratulating you in the room, and
thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate you guys watching and standing by. I hope we gave you a good show today, and thanks for the congrats. It's nothing like coming home winning.